Hello again, my friends. Well, as we sit here, coming up to the middle of September, meant to be the month of spring, and as I sit here talking to you, I'm feeling really oppressed today because our wonderful friends in Canterbury, in Christchurch and the whole Canterbury region, have suffered a major earthquake on Saturday morning. 7.1 on the Richter scale, and terrible, terrible damage. With ongoing constant aftershocks, and people are feeling very, very scared. God be praised, no one has died. Been a couple of quite serious injuries, but no loss of life, so we thank God for that. But it's affected their whole country, and I've got a lot of friends and sisters down there, and it is a whole new take on what we're talking about this month, which is stewardship. The whole of Canterbury, and especially Christchurch City itself, is losing its beautiful historic buildings. Its heritage centre is crumbling before our eyes, and we watch it on the TV every time I turn the TV on. We heard, for example, of one church in one of the suburbs in which the community had just raised a sizable amount of money to strengthen and refurbish their church, and now it's in ruins. Now, that puts a whole new take on the whole idea of stewardship, doesn't it? How do we care for the things, the objects that we love and cherish, that are close to us, that are kind of, if you like, a reflection of who we are? How do we do that? How are the people of Christchurch going to do that as their city literally crumbles around them because the aftershocks are causing more and more of the buildings to collapse over these days? Well, it's fine for me to sit here and ask the questions. I don't have any magical answers. I do know, however, and I'm sure you know too, that stewardship of what we have and own, what belongs to us, is one of life's core values. And it's one that receives very little attention because, as I see it, we live in a throwaway society, do we not? Everything is expected to last no more than 5 years, and for some people things last a lot less than that. So how does that fit in with Christ's message of caring for, preserving what we love and honour and cherish, the things that are they're part of us? Things like when the people in Christchurch stand and look at their house, which is either crumbled or being pulled down by the authorities in front of them, they're absolutely bereft. They are devastated. And we see and hear about horrible scenes of pure desperation. It's important for the rest of us to be there for those people. It's important for them to salvage what little they can, to keep that, preserve that in some way, and to be able to give them an opportunity to talk about what they've lost. We have a tendency to say, well, I remember even yesterday I was saying to somebody, well, our sisters have lost their beautiful ornaments that have been in the community for over 100 years, well before my time. They themselves are okay, and after all, the ornaments are only stuff. Well, that's all very well, but the stuff is precious. So we need to be able to verbalise that, to say it, to own it, and perhaps even to give it some kind of burial so that there's a ritual around that, which I think helps people to move on. And by golly, there's going to be a lot on moving on to be needed. So this is very random today because I'm feeling quite oppressed. about it all, about everyone in the country is feeling oppressed for Christchurch, because Wellington is the main fault line in New Zealand. We're the ones that expect to get a big one like this, and somehow at this moment we've escaped, but we know very well that we have not escaped, that our turn will come up one of these fine days. We know that. So it's important for us to recognise what is happening in Canterbury and in Christchurch City, to recognise that this is a whole new take on the value of stewardship, and to work with one another to preserve what we've got and to do better, to do more strongly how we're going to rebuild in the future. I guess what I'm really talking about here as part of stewardship is that sense of communio, that sense of us working together, being there for one another. It's part, I believe, of stewardship, because no one of us can save anything on our own, not our own things, and certainly not our environment. Thank you for being with me today. If you're somewhere else around the world, please join us in prayer for our people in the province of Canterbury and the city of Christchurch. And I look forward to talking to you again next month. Go well and go with your God.